he didn't want to before. I don't know. You should ask him or something. But welcome to the show, guys, and he's finally here. It's Robucci. I don't even know if he likes me anymore. But my first question for you is why the name Robucci?
The interesting little name. I guess so. I've drawn robotic people before. You know, you've seen a lot of that. It's sort of like a situation where I've made a lot of posts saying I don't like ears and I don't like noses and stuff. I'm like, oh hey, robots don't have ears usually, and they usually don't have noses. So I like drawing robots, I guess. And the Schei thing, I grew up in Germany, and Schei means shit, or like, you know, I sort of go by Shyster as a nickname, and that means like shitter. So I put the two together, and bam, I guess I made it like a kind of like handle that's easier to remember. And it's sort of like I was trying to think of something where if somebody hears that, they're like, oh damn, okay, well I'm not really going to forget that, because those are two words that don't go together a lot. So it's kind of unique, I guess. If I had, I don't know, a chance to make a new handle, I'd probably do like a different one, but I think it's just caught on enough that I don't really need to change it. Figure that, like, you know, it would sort of be a situation where I can take two things that I kind of find funny and sort of incorporate it into my persona, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
So no nose and no ears. Is that why you do mostly like ocean creatures and or bugs?
Yeah, they're evil. I think they're evil. They're the, like, I don't know. I've always had trouble with them. Like, even when I was growing up, I'd never draw noses and ears because they were, I don't know, they were just so. It's like a disconnect in my brain or something where ears and noses don't look good when I draw them, and I don't like looking at them, I guess. Like my favorite features are eyes and mouths and all that on faces, and I feel like, you know, those matter more. So I just never bothered, and I guess you could say I'm not like a good artist if I don't want to draw, you know, ears and noses, but I leave that out. And yeah, with all the sea creatures and stuff, like I sort of gravitate towards them because they sort of encapsulate like all the things I'm trying to go for when I'm drawing, and it's like, you know, cute stuff, squishy stuff, and stuff with big eyes, stuff with like strange colors and patterns on them, and thank the gods, noses and ears are not involved with sea creatures for the most part, unless you like look closely. And then if you do, I guess Sui would have like two big nostrils on his face. It'd be kind of creepy. But yeah, I leave that out. I don't really like it. I think it's evil.
So strange colors and patterns. Why no more country fix?
Oh, that whole chapter. So I guess I was sort of on that subreddit Country Bowl. It's a good one. It's really funny. They've got some really good like people that make comics on the subreddit. And I love that kind of stuff. So I thought, like, well, there's sort of an untapped market for that, at least on Twitter. And I was thinking, hey, wouldn't it be fun if I, you know, made them sexy? And so I sort of just like went for it, and like it sort of caught on, I guess, as you can see, and I actually had a couple of people like calm me for that kind of stuff. But I don't know, I sort of ran into the problem where I was like, oh, I don't want to like make anyone mad, especially like I don't know, I started getting into some different topics from when I just started out. Like I made sure I was doing countries that usually aren't you know, involved in horrible shit. And I've seen that on like FA and Twitter sometimes, and I sort of recoiled back. I'm like, oh geez, that's, you know, that reminds me, hey, that's why I'm not drawing those. But I didn't want to offend anybody, and there was always a chance, especially on a site like Twitter, that I'll offend somebody drawing stuff like that. So I kind of stopped. I mean, I should do it again sometime, But I think the last one I drew was, as I say, I don't want to offend anyone. I drew like communist Russia, so I don't know. Like I just feel like I want to not risk it, and draw some other stuff after that. So I sort of like closed that book, I guess.
So with like communist Russia and stuff like that, that reminds me of when you drew like Panama in like
Yeah.
a comic. Are you? I noticed you don't really do comics that much. Like, are you just feeling like burnt out on them, or are you planning on doing any comics or sequences?
It takes a lot of effort, you know, and it's like I'm one of those people where I like to get things done within a day. Like, hey, I need to do a picture or a commission. It just with any sort of subject of work, at least um like if I have to get it done within a day, then I'm like, sure, yeah, I can do that. But if it's like a multi-day or multi-week project and I'm putting like a lot of effort into it over a long period of time, I get burnt out very easily. And it's really annoying. Because that means I don't do well in school at all. But with the comics and stuff, they, you know, coloring them and stuff, it's fun, and looking at them afterwards, I'm like, damn, you know, I put a lot of effort and drive into this stuff, and I can see where it paid off. You know, I'm happy how it looks, but you know, especially after the Topo one at the what's it called, at the water park, you know, like people are asking like, "Where's page 8? Where's page 8?" And I've gotten a lot of questions, especially recently, where people are like, "Well, you know, it's been almost a year, and like, are you thinking of starting one up again?" And you know, it's sort of a situation where I start drawing comics when I get really bored, and I haven't gotten bored yet. I got some shit to do lately, but I think once things settle down again, I'm probably gonna start, you know, subconsciously thinking up of like some plots to put, you know, to put some poor OCs in that I'm gonna ruin their day, and everyone's gonna, you know, enjoy it for reasons and other reasons. But yeah, you know, the comics are kind of like, they're hard. They're hard, but they pay off. So I think within 2021, you'll see one or two. Yeah, you'll see one or two, I think.
Especially with comics, I notice. I mean, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but you seem to hop from OC to OC. Like you draw this one a lot, and then you're like, all right, done with that. Yeah. Next one. Why is that?
Yeah. Like this sort of cast. I like situations where you can get stories from each character in like a cast in different times, because I feel like having a true protagonist, you know, like, you know, let's say it's Schei or something. He is sort of the protagonist, but I don't focus on him much at all, because I kind of want to focus on everyone in their own little ways and make everyone like different. Because I had, you know, Captain Gid in the beginning, and then I had Tapo Hella and Ichabod for the water park one, and it's sort of like, you know, the different situations, they make variety, and I'm all about variety. I kind of get scared when drawing the same thing for a while. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta shake things up a little bit. So yeah, the different storylines for each character and like different comics, it's trying to like spice things up, and so I'm not, you know, overindulging in one character and everyone's like, where's the other, because, you know, they can always go back to that comic, and everyone sort of gets a fair share of attention, I guess. But right now, I guess that's Tapo. She's like the star of the show.
Yeah, she seems to be definitely everywhere. Your squid or octopi professor, but where is Hella? I don't understand.
Where is she? When
she is the best character, but you do not utilize her.
You have no bias at all. So the blue demon. I don't know. It's sort of like I need to you're reminding me to draw her again. I need to draw her again, but I it's weird. Like it's a weird situation with her where I she's what I started out with. You know, she was like one of my first OCs back in like the end of 2018 when I started posting stuff on Twitter. I gotta think. I sort of associate her with that part of my tenure. And not that I've outgrown her, you know, because I've drawn like some background pieces and some like rendered pieces with her last year. But I can't really find a valid reason why I stopped drawing her, you know, especially if some people like her a lot. I don't know. I might need to redesign her or something because I feel like her design has sort of fallen behind how my characters are detailed, but how detailed the other ones are compared to her, and I might need to change some things to make her more, I don't know, like stand out more with the whole blue skin and lighter blue horns, and maybe I'll add like some freckles or something. I don't know. I gotta think. It takes a while to think up redesigns and shit, but yeah, she's I like drawing her, and she's the original, and I feel like I should definitely give her some love now that you remind me. Yeah, it's she has all those themes that I go for with all the different characters. She sort of like encapsulates all of them, and so she's sort of like the generalist in a sense, and that's kind of important. So I'm definitely keeping her, and she's going to be around soon.
Well, definitely a word of advice. When I did that animation for you, don't give her a nose because it looks very cursed. But so
yeah.
I know you seem to favor Topo, but do you have like a favorite OC that you draw specifically?
Favorites? I go through phases, and I've seen this a lot with other people too, where they're like, "Oh, I'm thinking about blah blah this week, or this month, or this character's hitting all my buttons and all that." But like, I have like comfort characters, Topo included, as well as Schei. That's sort of like, I don't know, how do I describe it? It's like when I'm not vibing and drawing is kind of hard, I'm sort of able to like, calm down and like relax drawing these characters, and it makes me feel good because their designs aren't super complicated, and I have all their shapes down for their hair and for their, eyes and stuff, and their body type, and it's like it's comfortable, and those characters you can consider them my favorites because they're sort of like, I don't know, I'm really used to drawing them almost like a cartoonist is like, constantly drawing their characters to like get the design down to a T so there's no errors. Yeah, I would regard those as favorites. Also like Schei, though, I like drawing him a lot because I don't know, like the sort of idea of like transforming a spider into an octopus is kind of funny to me. And it's sort of like stepping into new grounds with like changing him as a character, almost like a redesign, but it's not permanent or anything. And also the Tiki, Ziki, she's really fun to draw when I'm feeling like I want to put some detail into something, because her face paint and all that is really fun, and she's got like a fun personality that I like to give her dialogue and shit. It's kind of funny sometimes. She's fun to draw.
Do you have a favorite piece that you worked on?
To think. I think I made a post earlier, like a couple months ago, about like, hey, these are like 4 of my favorite pieces of this year or something. Yeah, it was like at the end of 2020. Everyone was doing that. I have a couple of like background pictures. Actually, I think I have an example. See, I don't know how you would like show it, but there's one with Kat and Gid and Schei and Hella, and they're all at a beach or something. That one I'm proud of because I tried to put a lot of effort into like the clouds too and the colors and all that. I really love making colors pop and stuff, and that one has good shading, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think I did that around like March 2020. It was before I started the comic with Topo. I think it was before I made Topo. Damn. Now that I think of it, that's kind of funny. Yeah, that's definitely my favorite. But I don't do much of that anymore. If you've noticed, I've only been doing like sketches and shit. I haven't had a lot of energy to put into art lately, sadly, but I think that'll come back now that I've got a better living situation. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite one.
Favorite artists, like any in particular?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, not like I'm not trying to like put the spotlight on anybody and say, oh no, I'm pushing all these people aside, because I have a ton of friends that I talk to a lot, and they're awesome people, and they draw stuff for me all the time, and that is like, I guess they're all my favorite, but like, in the sense of like this person's style is something I want to imitate, or this person's style like really inspires me, not like as a friend, but as like artistic sort of interest. I think Murder Daedalus, that guy is really fucking good with like shapes and stuff. It's crazy, and like perspective. I don't know if he's like into what we're into, but it's definitely really, really like powerful. Whenever I look at his stuff, I'm like, damn, I wish I could draw like that. Damn, I want to put that sort of theme into my next picture. I don't know if you could like sift through my media tab and look for any examples like this looks like Ida's stuff. That's interesting. But they definitely inspire me. And who else? Who else could I think of? I feel like a lot of people are inspired by Trinity Fate, but his rendering is godly, and I wish I could do that someday. And that's just powerful stuff as well. And if I have to think about like someone close to me specifically that like, damn, their style is like really like, I don't know, it just captures my eye, and I'm like, wow, I wish I could draw like that too. It'd probably be like Boxmingle. Like I love his cartoony style, and I feel like mine is sort of like in between that and more realistic stuff. And I'm trying to sort of have the best of both worlds, where I'm inspired by cartoonists and I'm also inspired by people that draw realistic stuff. And it can get muddy sometimes. We're like, I don't know what kind of style I'm going for right now. But when you're in that situation, I'd say you've got a unique style then, if you don't know what it is. You can't really put a name on it. But yeah, Mingle is like, his line work and stuff, especially his sketching, is really clean. Not that anyone else's isn't. Not what I'm implying at all. But compared to mine, it's very clean, and that's sort of stuff I strive for. So shout out to them. Yeah.
So of all those artists you just mentioned, who would you collaborate with, and what would you guys make?
Collabs. I have a lot of anxiety about talking to people. Like a lot. So I don't know. Like I've never really floated that idea in my mind, because it's weird. Like talking to people feels very inaccessible to me. Just from the getting to know somebody standpoint. And I'll try to give an example, I guess, just to like float the idea. Like, someday, like in a perfect world or something. I guess it would be fun to do art trades and stuff. Because I don't really do commissions. Like I don't pay people. Really, I've never really done it. Like I've never really gotten a commission before. But I don't know. Like I consider like art trades to be a sort of thing where, damn, like this person kind of tolerates me, and they like my style, and I love theirs. So if they want to trade with me, that like means the world and all that. I'm like, holy crap! I see this sort of like a collaboration. That's like the highest level that I can think of, at least in an informal space, like Twitter and our community. That would be fun. But again, to reiterate, I sort of see it as inaccessible because especially with very popular people, because I'm assuming they're busy and they've got stuff to do and they got a lot of people to talk to, and I kind of don't. So it's sort of a different situation. It's like the anxiety sort of keeps me away from it, and also I feel like sometimes my stuff isn't detailed enough to warrant it. But that's just me. I'd be all over it if any of those people that inspire me would reach their hand out and say, hey, let's do a trade or something. But again, paradise. That's paradise. Yeah.
So honestly, like, of all these people that you just talked about,
Mm-hmm.
Since you seem to do also like different kinds of arts, and with all these people and all the different like artists, what I'm trying to say is, are you ever going to do more 3D modeling, and are you inspired by any 3D modeling artists?
3D modeling. So that stuff is hard because I'm sort of like I'm definitely an amateur at stuff like that. I mean, I only got into it because a friend taught me how to do it, and she does that stuff a lot more than I do because she's like a game dev and all that. But I do it because like it's sort of the curiosity where I think, oh, what if this 2D character I drew, I could make them 3D, and how would that work? And it's like a big job trying to translate them, and sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it looks horrible. Like Cat's first model. Oh my god! I'm glad I made a version 2 of that one. It looks a lot better. But with the sort of thing that you asked, where I could give people more of that content, it's hard because I'm really bad at making things move in 3D, and you've got that whole like people have brains where they see something in 3D move and they're like, oh damn, that's interesting, but they see something not moving, or I don't know, it's just like a model. It's just sitting there in a T pose. It's not super interesting, and that's all I do because I don't know how to animate. I just know how to build very simple characters, and my own, I guess. I've never made anyone else's character. Maybe I have, but I can't remember it very well. But I'm definitely an amateur, and if like you wanted me to, make a model for you or something, or what have you, I would have to to anybody asking if they ever did, I would have to decline because I'm like, oh, it's an intimate process, and it takes a while, and I feel like my own characters are, something I want to tackle right now. But maybe if I had a little bit more time and a little bit more energy to get into it, I bet I could make some more interesting stuff. But for now, I think I'm just gonna, sometimes when I'm interested, make characters of mine in 3D space, because the sort of effort putting 2D into 3D is interesting, and it sort of scratches an itch, I guess.
Well, you might be an amateur at 3D modeling, but you certainly are at music. You have anything to say about your SoundCloud?
Oh man, it's interesting to say the least. I guess I'm sort of a multimedia guy, but I'm all the chiptune stuff I make, it's undeniably completely inspired by Disaster Piece. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he made the soundtracks for Fez and Hyper Light Drifter, which are both games I really love, not just because of the music that he made, but also because they're just great games. And I think he scored It Follows, that movie. I've never seen it. I really should, but I really love his stuff, and his electronic stuff is superb. And I don't know, when I first heard it back in 2018, I was like hooked, and I thought, oh my god, I've wanted to get into music for a while. I made like a couple little stupid chip tunes before then that were like uninspired and bland, and I'm like, okay, this is finally like the inspiration I needed. I'm gonna copy him. So I made like 2 or 3 tracks that I never released that were like very similar to music, and then I realized, hey, wait a minute, I can't put these on SoundCloud because I have to actually like put my own thing into it. And I did some ruminating for about a year, like trying things out and posting a couple things that I thought were different enough. But I think with this new stuff, I've sort of deviated enough, and I have like a sort of style that I've gotten into, that I can sort of say, yeah, I'm inspired, but also it's sort of my own thing. And it I don't know what I'm making it for either. Like I have this game idea that I have a theme, and I feel like I wouldn't have a theme to make music for if I didn't have that sort of concept. It's just like a stupid little platformer, but it's fun to think of like level ideas, and then, hey, I should make some music for this that'll put all of my thoughts on this idea into like a material form that I can listen to. And I just posted to SoundCloud. They don't get much attention at all, but it's fun to, I get a little serotonin boost when, I see a little orange heart or I see a little comment saying, hey, this is great. And I'm like, oh, damn, people like this, huh? And I'm like, okay, I got to make another song. So that's sort of what motivates me for the music. And it's a bit, I guess, niche, like the whole chiptune thing. I might need to branch out eventually. I've made some techno stuff, and I've made some like music a lot like Portal. I love music from Portal. I want to get into that sort of raw digital sound in the future, but that's kind of hard, so I've definitely got to like study my shit. But yeah, that's as far as music goes. It's not like, super big, not as big as my Twitter or anything, but I've considered, putting it on there, but I deleted after because I'm like, oh shit, I don't want to associate the two with each other, so I'm going to keep them separate for now. So yeah, that the SoundCloud is, I guess it's going to stay private for now, for anyone on the Robot Schei account that's looking at it. But I'm going to think of some things to do with it in the future, definitely.
Well, you mentioned putting it at a level, and you're working on a 3D Gmod model map. Why don't you put some music for that?
Oh, yeah, with Hammer. It's hard, I guess. Like Hammer, it handles audio strangely. I was actually thinking about that like yesterday, where I could have a backing track in like my Gmod map, and like different things would move around and they'd make like different like music that would sort of back up the background music. But the way Source Engine handles audio files is that if they're looping, if you get out of the radius where you can hear it, it doesn't keep looping. It stops, and when you come back, it starts again, and that like ruins the whole like beat because it's not in sync anymore. And I could get around with that by making a song that's designed to not be in sync, but that seems kind of boring to me. It's definitely worth experimenting with, and I'm going to try it in the next like week or two, because I'm sort of on like a source mapping kick. That now that you bring it up, yeah, it's something that I'm definitely I definitely want to delve into, because it's like that's sort of what I've wanted to do with game dev, is testing with music and shit. And that's like sort of like the first perfect avenue where I have this thing that I'm okay at with this, like source mapping and, making music. Why don't I put them together? So that seems promising. I could try something with that. And with the maps being playable and entertaining, that's another thing. But I guess it's a personal project, and as far as like the workshop goes or ModDB or something, that's definitely far future. Like I want to get a lot better at mapping before then, because if people see, like the weird unfinished look of all my stuff, they're gonna like turn their head, like I don't want to play that. I want to play something that's like realistic and looks good. I want to play something that looks like Half-Life 2. So that's going to take a lot of practice, but I'm more than happy to, study that kind of stuff, watch videos, and get better at, putting props everywhere and making it look lived in. and putting my music in it and stuff. That'd be fun, definitely. I see that as like a good project.
So, do you have like a favorite part of the body to draw in specifically? Because you seem to fixate on like certain parts during certain pieces. Do you have like a specific body part that really interests you?
The best answer to that, I'm gonna be the guy and say all of them, but I guess in 2020, I sort of like grew to like arms. I kind of like drawing arms. I think I did a piece with Cat last year that had like, I liked how it came out, and it was sort of fixated on that. And the shape is very fun to draw, and I found that arms and hands, they're just like they convey a lot of emotion, and they feel very physical on the canvas when I'm drawing them, and it's really like fun to have them do different things and convey characters like personalities, what they're holding and what they're pointing at, what they're talking about. And I try to make every arm and hand different, but it's kind of hard with my style because I don't like detail. So I want to get better at drawing hands, but it is sort of therapeutic. And I guess the difference with me and other people is other people hate drawing hands and they see it as like really fucking difficult. And I agree, like they are pretty difficult, but I don't know. It's this difficulty that like gives me motivation. Like I think, okay, this hand that I'm thinking about, it's gonna be splayed out and looking at the like right in front of the camera. How am I going to convey that? And that sort of process. It's definitely fun for me because there's just a lot of detail in hands, and it's very satisfying to see it come out. Like, damn, I'm glad about that hand I draw. I'm very proud of it, and those arms too. And then the textbook answer: I like asses. I like titties. I like the midsection. Of course, my monkey brain. I like those too. But like trying to be, unique and stuff. I have to say, hands and legs. And I guess not to say it in a weird way or something, but I have to start practicing feet a lot more too, because with a lot of characters, I just make it look like they have like skin socks on. There's just no toes or anything. I've given toes to new ones, and those are hard because I don't know. I just have trouble with like proportion and like perspective with feet, and like lower legs and stuff. I cut off a lot of pictures from the thighs down. I really got to stop doing that because that sort of makes every piece. I don't know. It feels kind of like fake. Like, oh, you didn't try hard enough with like the legs and down. So I need to definitely work on that because that makes better anatomy, and better anatomy makes a better artist. And I'm all about being a better artist. Yeah. I guess that answers it.
So what you're saying is that we can look forward to feet pics in the future?
Yes. Yeah. Really, really sweaty ones, and they're gonna be like musty feet. Yeah.
So, what gave you the thickness for the sickness, or as I say, the sickness for the thickness?
I mean, I have thickness for sickness. It's I don't know. It's a long story. Everyone's gonna tell you that, but it sort of stemmed from I don't know. In the beginning, I guess it was just me. Like I didn't really have any references that I grew up with where I think of, oh, that was it. But of course I'm going to say Willy Wonka, and of course I'm going to say I think there's this one scene, and if anyone else in my friend group listens to this, they're going to laugh their asses off. But I've talked about this before in VCs and stuff. But that there's a scene from Ben 10 where I think the frog alien, I think his name was Upchuck or something. I think he like eats a laser. That scene fucked with me. And that sort of made me into the person I am today. You can look it up. I don't know. It's you're gonna think it's weird, but that sort of activated me, I guess. It's a funny way to put it, but it's weird. I don't talk about it too much with people outside of like my close friends because it's kind of embarrassing, but it's funny to talk about. So to look back on it and think like, okay, that's what made me start designing characters like this. But yeah, it's weird.
So, is there anything you want your fans to know about you? Like more of a freeform kind of question?
Oh, I'm sorry for sketching so much and not changing, it's changing things up a lot lately because, this already, but I sort of have this mold thing going on. It's like affecting my head. I have mold toxicity, and it makes like doing long tasks hard. And I've always been like that because of ADHD, but it's been harder lately with concentration. Like I could finish a picture like every day or every other day, like with rendering and shading and all that. But these last couple months, like the end of 2020, it's gotten really hard to do that, and I've only really been comfortable sketching, and that's tough because then I'm not getting anywhere, and I only know how to sketch, so I'm just going to be a sketch artist. But that sort of goes against my whole, I want to make pictures look good and colorful and have really nice shading, because there is no color in shading. So yeah, try to, to people that follow me and stuff, try to entice me to draw actual content instead of just stupid little sketches. I mean, that comes in handy for anyone that wants to com me, because if I only draw sketches, then they're going to be cheap. I'm basically like quote unquote only offering those. I'm doing more of that, but people see sketches and they think, oh, I want to get a sketch. People see rendered pieces, they think, oh, I want to get a rendered piece. So if there are no rendered pieces, then everyone's just going to get sketches from me. But that's fine. That's not really, I can't really blame them for that. But other things I could tell my fans, please, I'd like you guys to fangirl over somebody other than Topo because she's been in the limelight for like a year. And I don't know. I feel like Ziki hasn't gotten much, too much love. And I've tried to sort of push people slightly over to her with like posts saying like, what do you think of my OC? And I like, give her as an example. But that also goes with, me having to draw her more. And almost all of my actual finished and, colored and rendered pieces have been with Ziki lately. Because I guess, like I said earlier, it was fun to do details on her, and it was sort of a challenge. But yeah, the whole Topo thing, it's I think Ziki might be a little more interesting of a design. But everyone's got their favorites, and I don't, I'm not gonna judge anyone for liking a certain OC or something.
So, with your work specifically, you talked about like commissions and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of an old dated ideal and not really as popular anymore, but Patreon, Subscribestar, ever thought of something like that?
Ooh, I don't know. So I am sort of in the same place I started back in 2018, where I just made a Twitter because I'm like, okay, I've been drawing for myself a while. Maybe I ought to show this to other people. That might help me. They'll enjoy it. I'll enjoy it because I'm getting feedback, and that makes that gives me motivation. And I'm all about motivation. I don't get enough of it. With Patreon and I don't know how you say it, Ko-fi, I don't know. Ko-fi. I'm not really a schedule person, and you have to have schedules with Patreon and Ko-fi because people are paying money and they're expecting things. And I'm anxious about expectation, and if I have to set up like a schedule every week where, okay, 12 p.m. I'm drawing. Okay, I have to do this and this and this for Patreon, blah blah blah. To each their own. if you can do that, that's amazing. I love that kind of thing where you can make money and draw what you'd like and have people interact with it. And people are paying you because they want to see it. That's amazing. Keep it up. That's really awesome for artists. But personally, not having a schedule, it can suck sometimes, but I'm really comfy with that. Maybe when I'm older, it'll change. And I might think like, okay, I'm not making enough money. I need to make a Patreon. But I've sort of joked about it with my friends where I say, okay, if I ever get a Patreon or a coffee, shoot me in the head because I don't want to get one ever. I don't know. It's not concrete. It might seem like I have a strong opinion, but I change a lot, and I'm guessing in the future it'll be a possibility. But not anytime soon, probably. I'm sort of anxious having people throw money around for me for commissions, let alone Patreon.
So mold poisoning, is this the beginning of the Last of Us epidemic?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn into a clicker. It's my brain is half it's half mold spores at this point, and the other half is like gooey octopus flesh. This is the best way I could describe it. The whole mold toxicity thing, it all happened because our house had a leak back in 2019, and we hired a company to clean it up, and it was right next to my room. It was in the bathroom, and they didn't do it correctly or at all, and now we have to sue them because that's kind of what you do if somebody fucks up your house and your health. And that sort of spawned my trouble with motivation and stuff, especially lately, because I went into college right after that, and it really screwed me up, because I just couldn't concentrate, and I could feel the migraines I was getting, and I've been going to the doctor for it, and now that I've got a new place to live, it's going to be a lot easier to exercise, and I gotta apparently sweat it out a lot because sweating is the best way to get mold toxins out of you. So I'm gonna be bike riding a lot, and I'm not turning into a clicker anytime soon. Hopefully, that'd be fun. But
so a very important question, one
yes,
that even the gods think of. Aimbot Jones has given us a revelation.
Oh yeah,
about this topic. Airline food. What's the deal with it?
What is the deal with it? I can answer seriously, or I can answer in a jokey way. I'm gonna channel my inner Seinfeld. I'm kidding. I like airplane food. I said it earlier. I grew up in Germany, and I flew Lufthansa for a while. They have really fucking good airline food. They have the best, spaghetti and pasta, and it's really hot. And I've noticed, here in America, they don't, spend as much time, and effort in their food. That really makes a flight for me, because if you're sitting there for 6 hours with jack shit to do, getting lunch in between it, or dinner or breakfast or something, that's it makes it a lot more interesting, and you have a sort of way to divide the flight into two places where this is before dinner, this is after dinner, and then you have that really good dinner. You're like, damn, maybe it was a good idea to go on this plane because I got really good food because of Lufthansa chefs. But that's just privilege talking, because Lufthansa's a bit expensive, especially nowadays, and flying Ryanair or something, you're not going to get good airline food. But it's cheap, and that's sort of, I see myself flying Ryanair a lot more lately.
So now we have an experience and a philosopher to answer the question. Perhaps we are one step closer to answering said question, but my final question for you is, would you like to cuddle in a blanket and watch FNAF Let's Plays with me?
I'm gonna watch. I want to see. Freddy, right? He's gonna have these big toes, right? Doesn't he have big toes? How does he put shoes on? I wanna have a nice big bowl of popcorn, a nice big, tall sody pop, and I want to watch FNAF Let's Plays and game theory all night. That's my ideal evening, to be honest.
Truly a fellow gamer, I assume.
Yeah, it's comfy. It's comfy.
Well, this has been quite an enlightening interview. Thank you.
It's been a roller coaster talking to me.
Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh hell yeah. It's my pleasure. I really enjoy, stuff like this, and I don't really give people my voice a lot, and I don't, give them my opinions, so I feel like it's, awesome to have somebody delve into my fucked up mind and hear these stupid things I have to say. It's an honor.
Well, if you get past the mold, you're a pretty decent guy. Now, everyone, if you enjoy thickness, and if you enjoy definitely someone who seems to have a lot of potential to get somewhere, and if you want to see just thickness in general, well, you go to @RobotSchei on Twitter, and so maybe you could see some of his other stuff once he releases it, like his music, or maybe even a Gmod map on the workshop. Stay tuned for that or something like that. And pray for him that he doesn't turn into a clicker, and if you need a cuddle buddy, look somewhere else because he's mine!